Hi folks, with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the issue of false allegations of rape. Now, what brought this up again, and it's something I've commented on before, that President-elect Trump's pick for the Defense Department, Pete Hegseth, the go-to thing if you want to take out a political opponent, whether it's an appointment to the Supreme Court or any sort of appointment, is you go after their supposed moral failings. Now, the allegation is, or I don't think it's an allegation, I think the parties agree generally on some of it, is Mr. Hegseth had an intimate exchange with someone he'd known, a woman he'd known for a while, who apparently was married at the time, and she, in order to provide, or the allegations are that in order to provide a cover story for her infidelity, because her husband and kids were apparently staying in the same hotel that this tryst took place in, their cover story was, "Oh, look, it's not my fault. He raped me." And this, what this illustrates is it's a go-to. So. There's hope that she hopes the husband won't find out, and maybe she has conscience pangs after, thinking, "Gee, I should have done that. I've always wanted to fuck this guy, but now I've done it. I feel bad about it, and my husband isn't really buying my story that I fell asleep on a couch, and so I've got to go big here. I've got to think big. I know rape. Now, rape's a perfect one, because you say, well, he got out a gun and shot me. Okay, show me the bullet holes. Okay, that's right. He beat me senseless and bruised it. Well, okay, show me the bruises. No, that's not going to work. He sent me a threatening letter that if I didn't do that, okay, show me the letter. Right, yeah. So rape's the perfect one, particularly if you leave it a week or so after the event. Then there's no evidence. It's he said, she said. There's nothing, no physical evidence you can go. So no one's right, no one's wrong, but it's a good cover story. Now, it's also a cover story by girls who want to quit university. So mum and dad take out second jobs, and dad takes a loan against the house to pay for the daughter's education, and instead of studying hard and hitting the books and all that sort of stuff, she parties nonstop. She's doing party drugs. She's getting wasted every night, and so she decides, I can't hack this university bullshit. I'll just go home. And now then she's got to face the parents, face the daddy, and say, Daddy, I know you took out a loan for me, and I know you worked a second job. I know you busted your ass off for me, and I know that I spat in your face, and I know that I just shit on you, and that's I know that, but try and understand. And probably Daddy isn't going to understand that. It's not going to go down well. So what can you do? You've got to come up with something big here, and you've got to go to something that is without evidence, that it can't be proved either way. Oh, Daddy, somebody raped me. Oh, poor baby, little baby, my little baby, poor baby. Oh, it's okay. I understand. Everything's forgiven. And that's the go-to story. It's perfect. It's tailor-made for this. But it's well, who was the guy? Oh, I don't remember. So these are the two primary causes of making false allegations, and they're perfect go-to. Another one was there's a woman who quit her job, just couldn't hack it, and they've got a big mortgage. Her and her husband have a big mortgage, and they can't manage on one income. And so, what did you quit for? You know how big the mortgage is. You know how much we need this. Oh, I quit because I was raped. And so that becomes a go. So it's a perfect go-to in quite a few scenarios, particularly with this feminist charged atmosphere. And the media and the media machine, particularly the globalist media machine, because it sows social division and gender division, which is absolutely at the core of the globalist project. It's given very serious attention, even where there's zero evidence. Now, just an allegation alone is enough for an investigation to take place, and one that's quite serious. The balance of probability evidence isn't considered. There's an investigation, and so an innocent man is subject to the people he knows, everyone he knows, everyone is that he might be a rapist. So even if the police do nothing and don't go anywhere with it, and the prosecutors don't take it up, that's still a case of that you were accused. And an accusation is sort of in that sort of area, an accusation is really a sort of a state of pre-guilt rather than just an accusation. And because there are no penalties, or hardly ever penalties, for people making false allegations, bearing false witness, because there's no penalties, then they're able to do it with impunity. If it doesn't work out, they can just get on with things. And if it does, then someone can go to prison, whether there's evidence or not. But there needs to be penalties either way. You are a perjurer. You are a perjurer. But the way it's looked at by the feminist prosecutorial system is, okay, well, he got away with it and there just wasn't enough evidence. But that doesn't mean he's innocent. And it doesn't mean she's been spreading falsehoods. It just means there wasn't enough evidence to get him, to get the Nazi, to get the fascist. Now, within this wider backdrop, the view is that and the whole legal fraternity now is shot through with activists, including prosecutors and DAs and so on. And there's a decent chance, if you're a penniless man that gets a legal aid lawyer appointed or something like that, or even another lawyer, the chances are very high they will, in effect, be working for the other side. They won't be working for you. They're not there to clear your name or portray you as innocent in the court. They're probably going to try and convince you to take a plea. They're going to treat you on the basis that you probably are guilty. There just may not be quite enough evidence to nail you. That will be the overall sort of the umbrella attitude around it. And so you need to be very careful. Anyone needs to be very careful on these things. Now, it's the same in the corporate world. If in some big company or business that they want to get rid of somebody, then one of their first go-tos after they've trawled through the expense account, one of the first go-tos is to go around to all the women that someone interacts with, the guy interacts with, to try and get somebody to say that he did something inappropriate, sexual touching, ass grabbing, rape is perfect. They'll even offer sums of money and inducements to women to do that. In the event that doesn't play out, they'll then give a vacation to some guys, some personal assistant or some sort of secretarial support woman, and then they'll send her off on a holiday or transfer or something like that. Then they'll bring in a temp from a temp agency, but it won't be a temp from a temp agency. What it'll be a plant. They're sticking a woman with a short dress and a plunging neckline, and her job is to bat her eyes at the guy, trying to get him to say or do something inappropriate. She may hint that I'm going to be alone tonight and I've got no boyfriend. Oh, I don't know, what am I? Just to try and get him to say, oh, well, I can come over, or that type of thing. So it'll be set up and a honey trap. It'll be the whole thing. And of course, if he goes for it, then they've got him. So these are now widespread. It's the perfect go-to, which of course corrupts those who do have a genuine case. Now, on top of this, the definition of rape has expanded hugely, and it's all ideological now, and the law itself in the West, now the globalists have got their hands on it, has been transformed from facts and evidence into just ideology. And the people at the forefront of pushing this ideology, who are nearly all lesbians, by the way, they see rape not as an actual rape. Did a rape take place? That's not really the issue as far as they're concerned. The issue is social power relations. Straight man has more social power than straight woman, and also lesbians viewed as the ultimate in violation of violations, because their perception of intercourse, whether it be consensual or not, their perception of it is it's the ultimate violation. A straight man penetrating, as in intimate relations, penetrating a lesbian woman, then to them this sets off every alarm bell and every panic button that could ever be conceived. So they tend to view it with a level of this is an opportunity for the most vicious vengeance. And the facts and the evidence, well, they kind of don't really matter. What matters is the ideology. Men have been oppressing women for centuries, and therefore men should be held ideologically accountable. And I've mentioned a number of times now that I knew, or I haven't seen it for years now, but I knew a prosecutor who's a specialist prosecutor prosecuting rape, and she took the view that if a few innocent men go to prison, innocent of rape, a few innocent men go to prison in order to get the one guilty one, then that's kind of okay. That's an acceptable sort of standard. And because the innocent ones that weren't guilty of rape, they probably have raped some woman or forced themselves on some helpless little frail tiny waif woman in the past, and therefore they're getting caught now for something they did previously. And even if that wasn't the case, then as a straight white male, they're guilty of abuse of social power, and that alone should send them to prison. Even though unfortunately we can't have laws that allow that, so we just use rape as like a de facto punishment for the social power that straight white males have, and it's of course crazy. Now, I was arguing, I was pointing out with some vigor, by the way, that was an outrage. That was a terrible state of affairs, and innocent people go to prison. And she sort of looked at me, and she would have been about my age at the time. She looked at me and said, well, I don't know what your problem is. You're not the sort of person who does rape. I can spot a rapist at 1,000 meters, 1,000 yards. You're not the sort of person. You're never going to be dragged into court. You're just not that sort of person. And I thought, well, thank you for that. Gee. But the thing was that she took the view that if I wasn't personally in danger, why would I give a shit about the overall state of the law and the practice of law, jurisprudence and the innocent? And so I think, no, that should concern every citizen, surely. Proper functioning of the law is in everybody's interest, is it not? And she shook her head because she saw it from an ideological perspective. So when someone's accused of rape, it doesn't matter whether they're innocent, and when the balance of probability that it happened is about zero, ideologically the police must investigate. So they'll go on investigate it again. Everybody now knows that Billy Bob or Jimmy Jack, whoever was accused of rape, and so it'd be, well, there just wasn't enough evidence to get him to stick it up him, and so this is the wider backdrop. But when we look at the proven cases of false allegations of rape, they always come down to, or pretty much at least, come down to a cover story. Here's another one. This is a woman who got married, and the night she got married, that they're having the big party, and the brand new, newly minted husband drank way too much, fell asleep. He sort of fell asleep at his own party, for goodness sakes, and they carried him off, and it's in some hotel, so they put him to bed. And now she'd always wanted to fuck the best man, or one of the people. I think it was the best man, but one of the people there. So she thought that if she fucked the best man on the same day as her wedding, the night of her wedding, but then was going to be a loyal, sort of faithful sort of wife thereafter, then that was kind of okay. the best man was supposed to have known this guy for years. I don't know how much of a buddy he would have been, fucking his new wife anyway. So they had a fight, but somebody told the husband, or somehow he found out. Someone told him. So a few days later, he says, "Hey, well, what's this?" And it had been corroborated. So he had a dead to rights, and so she was, "Oh no, it wasn't like that. He raped me." So that's the cover story. This is the get out of jail card. This is the no, I've got an excuse. It wasn't my, I have no agency here. It's not me. Yeah, someone else did it to me. I had nothing to do with it. And so, these people had known each other since primary school or something, like the best man or this other guy. They're not talking to each other. The marriage fell to pieces anyway, not long afterwards. And so, but that was the go-to that she used. And again, kids, girls in college, I borrowed all this money for you. Why did you leave? Oh, I was raped, Daddy. Oh, you poor little baby. Everything's forgiven. So it's always the perfect excuse. And so if a wife fucks a guy and gets caught out, no, it wasn't like that. He raped me. Not my fault. You can't judge me. And we see this. So this is certainly, depending on whose numbers you go by, more than 50% of the allegations of rape fall into this category. Now you get then a lower level sort of these, they always say every year they seem to invent new sort of, lesser rape charges, like unwanted sex, or she had one glass of wine too many, therefore couldn't give consent, therefore it's technical rape, and so on. These types of things. And so this is something that's out of control, and ideology has taken over. But the primary abuses, today are in the corporate and political world, where you try and take out your political opponents by accusing them of rape, and thus, in the wider scheme of things, some sort of moral failing. Now, if we go back to say that the Senate approval of Brett Kavanaugh into the Supreme Court of the United States. Now, the allegation was that I think when Justice Kavanaugh was a teenager, he allegedly had intimate relations with some woman, and so now this woman was given a special preparation crew got hold of her, what her hair was going to look like, the sort of glasses that she had, and when this word comes out, you cry, and when this, then you cry, then you put on a whiny baby voice, and then you do this thing. And so they had, a week plus of preparation, preparing her for the cameras. I mean, she doesn't look like that normally and hasn't behaved like that since. And yet there was no investigation of the preparation that she clearly went through before appearing, prior to appearing before that bullshit Senate committee. So here again, we see that the idea of rape or that sort of stuff being used just to take out a political opponent and being dressed up as some sort of righteous thing when it's far from it. The evil ones are the ones that are using it in the context of a false witness. You've been with Tasseless today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.